Shalom. I want to first start off giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto our apostles, as well as the men that taught them, the elder high priests, and the elder bishops and the elders at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings unto the 144,000 and the rest of the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Abadia from the GMS Houston camp. And I'm not sure what I'm going to name this video, but I'm going to go into the fact that the people that created and run this society are sick in the head. Absolutely. The people that run this society and created it are sick. And they really they really in control of this earth, according to Job 9:24, which leads to who's running this place and who set it all up. But the focus is going to be on Babylon the Great, because a lot of the wickedness that's going on in the earth emanates from the influence, okay, or as the scriptures say, from the wine, okay, of the whore of Babylon the Great, okay. And when you really understand and get into the dark secrets that this man has been ruling by, the one conclusion you're gonna draw, is that this man is sick in the head. Who is this man? This man is a so-called white man. And it's not as we know, it's not a surprise. This man has been showing us. He's been showing the world. He's been showing, especially the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay, which 2/3 of us don't have when I say of us, I'm talking about of the nation of Israel over here in America, don't have a problem with this man and his sick in the head ass ways of doing things, okay? Which brings about, it brings about grief, misery. So this man runs a society, and he displaying the way things are ran. One that's in their right mind will have to say, this motherfucker's sick in his head. That's one expression that can be used. I'm using it today in this lesson concerning Esau, Edom, who is the so-called white man according to the scriptures. Okay. Now I'm gonna read this AI definition for sick in the head. Okay. It says sick in the head is a colloquial. How you say this word? Colloquial. I think that's it. Yeah, is a color, which basically means this is not literal. It's like a figure of speech, informal speech. You know. So let's read on. It says expression used to describe someone who is mentally unwell, and that's one sentiment that you can draw from the way things are ran and set up here in Babylon the Great. That something is wrong with this. Something wrong with this dude. And it's not really that something is wrong with him. The Most High just created Esau to be the wicked. Okay, so his spirit, the spirit that's in him, is all about rape, robbery, murder, doing abominable things, indulging in abomination, and encouraging the society to live based upon that nature, and cloak it and do a poor job of trying to cloak it in righteousness. Okay? The man is screaming peace, do the right thing, love, love. He's screaming love, peace, and happiness, but set up rape, robbery, murder, abomination. Okay? And that's why everybody's, you know, um, got a warped way of thinking. And 2/3 of our people over here in America, they sick in the head too. So they don't have a problem with the way things are set up. Ultimately, you got to completely, you know, be against all of this because it ain't right. It's not right the way things are ran, okay? The way people think based off of, this man's wine and indoctrination. Let me go back to this definition. It says, sick in the head is a colloquial expression used to describe someone who is mentally unwell, eccentric, can look that word up. It says, or behaving in a strange or irrational manner. And that's the way he don't speak that way. He really does, but what I mean by that is, as the scriptures say, his words were smoother than butter and softer than oil, but war was in his heart. So he's always screaming out through the government, through politicians. Okay, for an example, love, peace, happiness. All right, but he's demonstrating through laws. Okay, unrighteous laws. All right, and a way of thinking, a Western mindset, rape, robbery, murder, steal, kill. All right, LGBTQ, uh, pro energy. All right, and that's why every people are bugging out. All right, and those of us that have this knowledge, we dead set against all of this, and we've come out of having a sick mind, because if you are into this society in any shape, fashion, or form, you can't just say, oh, I don't agree with some of this stuff, but you agree with other parts of what's set up. Then you sick in the head too, you know? And it's then created a world where, especially here in America, where people are losing their minds. People don't really come to find out, they don't understand what's going on, why things are the way they are, why is your woman out of control, why the children out of control, you know, why is there so much crime, you know? This man is the reason, because he's sick in the head, okay? He's behaving in a strange and irrational manner. Whenever you push, the agenda of moles and bowls, all right, and transformers, you sick, man. You sick in your fucking head. That's strange. That's irrational manner of living. To put a woman up, man, these women are sick, are bugged the fuck out. They change like the wind. But this is the one you put in the positions of authority uh, over men and over children. And we see what's going on with that, especially with the so-called black woman. They're cooking these children, literally. They destroying these babies. That's why Jake is all fucked up. All right. And if you of the hopeful elect, the Most High is going to call you out of this madness as he called all of us that are teaching his word, the few sisters that are quietly and inconspicuously, you know, getting themselves in order. All right. So I'm gonna bring out some scriptures. Start over here in Proverbs, and I don't believe you can see this on the screen. Something going on with my recording app. When I try to record a double screen or even leave off the screen I start recording on, I don't know. I got to go in the settings and figure out what's going on. But anyway, I'm over here in Proverbs 4 and 14. It says, enter not into the path of the wicked. So if you get into the ideology, which, Esau ideology is confusion. You can get in. Why? Because you can get into all these different realms of thought. Okay? Whatever you want to think about life, you really can think that way. You can get into any religion, any ideology. All right? And it'll have to be at the top. The most vile thing you can get into is that abominable acronym life. And even if you're okay with it, because you got people that say, oh, well, that ain't me, I don't get into it. But I ain't got nothing against it. Some people really feel that way, like, oh, let them just do their thing. That ain't me. And some people just scared. They know that if they speak out against it or have a mindset against it, because people got family members. It's all sewn into society, and then the the family construct, which is all completely out of order. So if you against it, then I mean you gotta cut off your cousins and your nieces and nephews and aunts and uncles and moms and dads, because these titles I just mentioned that are in the family are into this shit. So then, so for you not to be the enemy of the family or of the world, okay, then they go along, they scared, well, I ain't really with all that, but I'm gonna just go along with it, not to, ruffle no feathers. Well, that's bullshit. You're supposed to be against that. Okay? It says, enter not into the path of the wicked and go not into the way of evil men. Why? Because it'll have you in a bad state. For one, you're gonna be grieving. We're gonna grieve anyway because we under this devil. But when you get all up into this man's society, your mental state diminishes. You having all that, you got people think, they see these entertainers and whoever, athletes and other people that got money. They show their money all over social media, and you'll think their life is perfect. They got the cars and the lifestyle, and these fucking people are miserable, you know. But they hide it through their so-called, riches. Everybody's messed up in the head. That's why when that CV-19 came on hit the scene, people wanted to end it all, because they couldn't go out and indulge in this sick world, especially if you got money. The more money you get, the more sick in the mind you are. The more temptations you got to deal with against abominations. Okay? And it has totally polluted the minds of the world, especially here in America. And 2/3 of our people, I mean, they all in it. They waddling in this shit. Okay? Meanwhile, the ones of us that hope to be of the elect, that's striving and fighting, to make it to the end of this oppressive, destructive kingdom. We didn't came up out of that sick mindset. We didn't got our brainwashed through this word. Okay. Yahweh says, was that John 7:17. Let me bring that out real quick. St. John 17. Yeah, 17. Sorry. If I said 7 and 17, I meant to say 17 and 17. Okay, 17 and 17. This is Yahweh speaking. Okay. Really, this applies to the elect, starting with the 12 disciples, which eventually became apostles. It says, sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. So sanctify means to cleanse. Okay? So the truth has not only set us free, but it's cleansed our mind, okay, from a sick way of thinking. If you believe in voting, if you believe in the medical system, okay, if you believe that you can make it here in Babylon the Great some way, somehow, we just got to find a way to, you know, get away from get away from the devil. All right. What I mean by that means segregate ourselves from this man in his kingdom by building putting black banks together and black businesses together and building generational wealth. Man, get out of here. That's an illusion. And that's a sick way of thinking too. That you want to, get independence, have generational wealth under another race, under their standards, which are sick. Encouraging another man to go into another man, you're sick to encourage that in society. You can get a transformer procedure in the military. What kind of shit is this? The military is supposed to be about men, valiant men fighting, for their nation, for a cause. You're sick. You send um, men mainly, okay, overseas to fighting your phony wars, meaning the reason or your deceptive wars. That's the better way to put it. Because you tell America the reason why you're going to war, and you're really going to war for a whole nother reason, which is really the rape robbing, and murder. Because within the war, if real wars happen, meaning people are really dying, you're murdering people essentially for your wicked cause, the so-called white man's wicked ass cause, which is really about a world takeover by force. So let's go back in Proverbs. It's Proverbs 4:15. It says, avoid it, pass by it, turn from it, pass away. Man, that scripture say, get out, get away from it. Avoid it, pass by it, turn from it, pass away. Okay? Why? Let's go to another scripture. Micah 2:10 says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. And it's talking about, through the Spirit, this is talking about Babylon the Great. Arise ye and depart out of the way, the mindset that this place indoctrinates you to have, which is to agree with wickedness and to think and to have a sick way of thinking. To think that the woman is the backbone of a family, and that's really Jake. Jake get into that shit. Esau have put that indoctrination on so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, especially the so-called blacks. The woman is the backbone of family. Get the fuck out of here. That's a sick way of thinking. When the woman breaks down over the smallest things, or a woman have a meltdown and ain't shit even really happening in life, but they're the backbone. Big mama. Yeah, right. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. You see? What's polluted? This place is, yeah, it's literally polluted. The air is polluted. The water is polluted. Okay? The ground itself, like the soil, the dirt is polluted. And the minds of the people are polluted. You know what? I never looked. I want to look up this word polluted. See what they got for it in the blue letter in the Hebrew. So this word polluted goes back to H2930, and it's pronounced tamah. Tamaha. So tamah. And it says, what do we have? Unclean. Yeah, you can have an unclean way of thinking. It says a primitive root to be foul, especially in a ceremonial or moral sense. You see? Contaminated, defile, pollute. Also in the outline of biblical usage, to be unclean. Oh, to become unclean sexually, religiously, ceremonially. Wow. Good job. That's an excellent definition on this word polluted. To be unclean sexually, because America is the most sexual deviant place in the world. This place encourages, you know, unclean ways of having sex. Encourage sodomy. Okay? And other disgusting things in the sexual nature. Religiously. You see? This man lets you get into all these wicked religions. Don't lead to nothing. All they do is forward the way of Babylon the Great. You got a nigga in Egyptology celebrating Christmas. Guarantee it. They may talk down on it, but they ass, black ass, probably be right there celebrating it. It's sick to teach this shit to children that St. Nicholas is in the North Pole with elves making making gifts for the world. Then got magical reindeer that fly around the world and pass out gifts to the ones that were good, nice and not naughty. When this this whole setup is naughty, you know, that'll go into the ceremonial part of it. You know, these holidays. When you get into these holidays, this is sick. It's sick stuff. To teach your kids about these fairy tales, which really goes back to, you know, paganism. You're sick to follow a religion. Let's deal with the main one, Christianity, which has done absolutely nothing. People should be in an uproar saying this shit ain't working. Churches all on the streets every goddamn where, and everybody's still messed up. What's going on? But to keep following in that, you're sick. So that's enough on that definition. But just going back to Micah 2:10, it says, "Arise ye and depart, not physically, but spiritually. Come up out of this place. Get your mind out of the mud." Okay? For this is not your rest. All right? Yeah, this is not the place to think about longevity and having a beautiful, successful, happy life. And which is never happens for Jake. Okay? This is not the place to say, this is it. This is the place to be. Nope. It says because it is polluted, it's polluted. Just went into that word. Yep. To be unclean, ceremonially, religiously, sexually. Put pretty good. Put pretty well. It shall destroy you even with the sword destruction, and it has. See, that's why over back in Proverbs 4, it said, avoid this, avoid the path of the wicked. Turn from it because it will destroy you, and it has destroyed us. It has destroyed us Israelites. I mean, we look like complete shit nerd. Worst case scenario, as the Elder Yashwamba like to say. We're living in a worst case scenario. If a foreigner was to come and do a foreigner that doesn't know about so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in America specifically, and they were to do an observation on the condition of us, the report would have to say they're in a horrible condition. It can't get no worse. Or they get put, their condition is a worst case scenario. It couldn't get no worse than the way that they're living, the way they treat each other. Okay? The way they think. Because Jay got a all fucked up way of thinking, man. Thanks to Esau. We supposed to be thinking according to these scriptures. Okay? With understanding. We're supposed to be rehearsing the righteous acts to the best of our ability. Okay? And coming up out of this sick way of thinking. Let's go back to Proverbs 4. And I'm gonna read verse 15 and go into 16. I might end it right there. It says, avoid it, pass by it, turn from it, and pass away. And get away from completely remove yourself from the way that from believing in this place, from indulging in this place. Because it is wicked. And we've seen the effects that it brings. It destroys you. That's why people are spazzing out all over the place, because Esau's way destroys you. The scriptures say the path of the wicked, it destroys you. It destroys your mind, and it destroys your body. It says, for they sleep not except they have done mischief. Yeah, this is the people that's ruling, the international bankers and the people and the entities up under them that they set up to forward their agenda. Okay? It says they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. Wow. That means unless they're pushing some type of wicked, vile act that's going to bring problems and misery upon people, death and destruction, they can't get a good night's sleep. That's the mind of a madman or someone that's sick in the head. And absolutely, this is the world we live in, where you put a man on child support, okay, and if he's delinquent on his payments, you suspend his driver's license. Now you enable him with transportation, so how is he going to get to and fro to work, or to and from work? You see? Then if you go even further into delinquency, they'll put you in jail. How about that? You know? And we can give all kind of examples. The list goes on and on and on. That's why the scriptures say that his sins is really talking about Esau in the form of Babylon the Great. But he set this whole sick ass society up. You know, the scriptures say his sins have reached on her sins. I'm sorry, not his. Her sins have reached on to heaven. So I'm going to stop right there, okay? And Lord willing, this video was edifying. All right, and until the next one, I say shalom.